So if you get irritated, for example, by something, what are just for someone who has never been in touch with, or maybe has been in touch with but never understood someone who has Asperger's or some form of autism, what are kind of things that annoy you, and how does it express itself when you get annoyed by something?
Well, let me see. Traffic. I mean, I think everybody gets annoyed with traffic. Everybody, but I think traffic is a good example. You know, you're going someplace, and usually the traffic is okay, and you've left just in time to where you get to your destination right on time. I'm the type of person, I like to be right on time. And if something makes me to where I'm not right on time, I can get pretty upset and scream and use a few choice words. So you get in the car and it's like, okay, I've got plenty of time to get there, and all of a sudden the traffic's backed up. You know, it's just this, and everybody knows that feeling. That's why I'm using that example. So it would be like that with other things at work. You know, you're working on something and you're making really good progress on a project, and then all of a sudden somebody else comes in with some project that has to be done, and you really don't want to do it because it's just some, you know, minuscule thing, but it's got to be done, and you've got to stop working on what you're doing. Everything in me wants to say, well, I can't right now, and this is just going to have to wait, and maybe you can get someone else to do it. Oh, but you're the only person here that does this, you know? And so for me right now, you know, I can't say that to the people that I work for. I have to say, okay, you know, I'll stop doing this. And in my mind, I'm like, you know, and then I do the other thing and fix it and send it on. You know, in the past, you know, relationships were broken because I would vocalize my frustrations, like, well, we can't, or I can't. And you don't want to use that language. I can't, we can't. You can. You know, you're just going to have to rearrange your schedule. In other words, people who are on the Asperger spectrum like everything to flow like clockwork. And when it doesn't, we have a tendency to get mad.
Okay. You were familiar with autism before you get diagnosed, and you heard about Asperger's before that.
I did.
So, yeah. So, did it ever occur to you, like, I might have that, or was it something that you just?
It actually did occur to me, you know, that I might have that because, and it first occurred to me out in Los Angeles when I had gone to school, and you know, I started noticing some of the same things had, you know, kind of followed me there. It's like, well, you know, why did this follow me? And then I started kind of putting two and two together, and it seemed like I did some research. Maybe I wasn't even doing research, and it just sort of popped up, Asperger syndrome, and I thought, you know what? I'm bet money that's what this is.
Oh, I thought that it had been confirmed.
So it's yeah. So that's what happened. You know, I kind of diagnosed myself back then before the actual diagnosis took place, because I put it on my mind. My friends are like, "No, John, you don't have that." So there I was. You know, when Dr. Frank Gaskell of Southeast Psych told me, and it just clicked. It's like, you know what? I kind of had a feeling that this might be what it was, and we just sat there and just smiled at each other.
Okay. So if someone has a feeling this might be something that I might have, or my friend might have, what's a good step to take? What would you recommend? Who could they see? Is it do you go to a psychiatrist, or who does the diagnosis? Because I guess that's not someone that your everyday doctor.
I don't know if a psychiatrist.
Yeah,
I don't know if a psychiatrist.
Psychologist.
A psychologist, like a therapist.
Psychologist, yeah.
A therapist.
Okay.
And what I would do is I would look, you know, for somebody that specializes in that. You know, people with Asperger's, they have a tendency to be attracted to machinery or computers, you know, at a very early age. And they'll tell you everything there is to know. You know, examples for me would have been fans or edgers, for the lawn, and vacuum cleaners was a big one.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's a funny one that my family won't let me live down, because they have memories of me going over to their homes and pulling the vacuum cleaner out and insisting on using it because it was different from the one that we had, and I liked the differences.
Okay. So very, very specific.
Very specific things.
Again, yeah.
It's you've got to have it this way and not that way, and it's this thing over here that no one else ever really thinks about. And bells and bell towers, things like that, and wanting to go up and see them and touch them and just be there. That high up. Things that were high up. And so I would say, those are all things that seem to be in line with people that I've talked to with Asperger's. They're all common, commonalities.
Okay. So definitely go to a therapist, talk about it, and see if you can get that diagnosis. Yeah.
Exactly. And if they don't specialize in it, they might know somebody that you can go to. And with the internet these days, you can always contact somebody on the web.
Okay. And how has knowing it helped you in your daily life? Is it that you're more aware of things? Is it that you can explain it to other people?
Well, I would say that first of all, I have a much better self-image, and to see myself as a person who's brilliant and worthy. It changes everything. Seeing yourself in the right way. That's the first thing. The second thing would be to watch myself, kind of keep myself accountable, and always consider how the other person might feel in a situation. I've got the funniest story I've got to tell you. So I told you I've never really dated, and so I don't like dancing either. I don't like people up in close proximity to me. People with Asperger's have a tendency to look down when we talk to you, and I've been noticing that. And so when I see that I'm doing that, I immediately lift my head. A friend of mine likes to go contra dancing, and so this was a few years ago, and we went, and I wound up dancing with this older lady, and I thought, okay, I'm going to look at her, but I didn't know I had Asperger's at that point. I looked at her, and she went like this, like, what on earth are you looking at me like that for? And I realized she thought that I had the hots for her.
Ah, okay.
Because when we got through dancing, she was old enough to be my mother, and she looked at me and she said, "Now, you go find a young lady to dance with." And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm never coming back here again, because I did not mean that. I did not mean it. And I was so embarrassed. But that's how she took it. And I thought, this just isn't where I belong. And so I just told my friends, I said, listen, we'll go hang out and get a few beers every once in a while. I'm not coming back here.
I gotcha. Okay. So if I know someone has Asperger's or autism, what's a good way to react to that, or how to approach them, or how can I be more supportive in a way that people might not feel as uncomfortable or might not feel impacted by the way I treat them?
Sure. I think giving them a chance is a really big thing. I've had situations within work where I was right about something, and just like your friend, I said it in a certain way, but I was right, but they did not want to hear that. And so it ruined the project that we were working on, made it very difficult. And so I would say give somebody a chance. If you see that they're working hard and trying to process through something, and that they've got this or they might have it, give them a chance. To say, do you really? I see that you're working hard at this. I think maybe you're doing it the wrong way, or going a long way around what could be a short way. But if you really feel this, go ahead and do it. That can be a tricky one, though, because if you got two people that think they're right about something, it can be hard. I mean, it's I guess it's hard to know how to answer that question. You'll have to. First of all, is it worth having them there? Do they know what they're doing? Because it could be that they don't. Maybe it's not a good fit, but giving somebody a chance, I think is the best thing you can do.
Okay, I understand. So what's next for you? What's next for the Backwords Dude, sorry.
I'm starting to step into the in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. And I've been told by producers that the camera likes me, that I got a good look. And I'll be in my first TV commercial next year for Insurance King. It's here in the States, of course, and it's Midwest. So it's local to Midwest. And I'll be with Dustin Diamond from Saved by the Bell. He played Screech. That's going to be fun. There's the possibility of being on America's Got Talent because they asked me to audition for them here in Charlotte. And when I went to the audition, they had a camera crew follow me around for a bit. And they also had me go back into the audition twice. So that's looking very promising. I don't know if I'll get on or not, but I'll know around spring. But even if I don't, things are really starting to happen. And, hopefully with doing the TV commercial, I'm also on the radio about once a month here in Charlotte. And so things are just starting to pop. I'll probably continue editing because I enjoy it, and do commercials. Do commercials on the side. Who knows? Maybe do a voice of a character in a movie or something. That would be nice. The Backwards voice.
and as I noticed the same thing. That's why I was initially so. No, that's confused is the wrong word, but I was surprised to hear that you're like on the autism spectrum, because when you look at your YouTube videos and you talk to the camera, that's a regular dude. I mean, it's like, yes, he's talking backwards, but I wouldn't ever expect that you have some sort of autism. You're on the autism scales, but this way, and you're really natural in front of the camera. That's what I noticed as well.
Yeah, that's what producers are noticing, and so I'm thankful for that. I know when to turn that stuff off, and even as a kid, I knew that I was being erratic in some of my behavior, but I thought people will get it. They'll get it. They know that I'm not being serious when I do this, but they just did not know that. I've got tape recordings of myself from when I was 5 and 6 years old, and let me tell you what, it's pretty out there. It's pretty erratic. Of course, you're listening to a child, but when that's it kind of changes everything. It's like, well, is there anything wrong with me there? But when I look at other 5 and 6 year olds today, they're a lot more calm than I was. And I know my peers back then were a lot more calm and more focused than I was. I was just all over the place and, trying to turn fans on in people's homes and pull out the vacuum cleaners and, pull out the film projector at school, even if we weren't sure, because back when I was in school, they had the actual reels of film, and I was just mesmerized by that, and I would pull that out and, and the teachers would be upset, it's just, I've come a long way. So you wouldn't be able to tell at this point.
Okay. So where can people learn more about you? Where can they watch more of your videos? You have a YouTube channel?
I have a YouTube channel. It's called Backwords Dude, and it's spelled different. It's BACKWORDS Dude, DUDE. And you can go there on YouTube and watch my videos. You can send me requests, and if they're lucky, I might do their request. I've got tons of requests coming in all the time of things to say, or to teach somebody how to say, and I'm always grateful and down for teaching people how to say something backwards, like their name or something like that. I have people requesting me say things in a foreign language, which I can do as long as I can say it forward, and it's short enough I can say it backwards. So
okay.
it's that's That's how they can contact me.
Yeah, we're going to put the link in the description and make sure that everyone can have a look at it. And definitely check out the YouTube channel. There's some amazing stuff up there, and really, it's really entertaining. It's really fascinating. It's really fascinating to see you do all these requests, definitely. You're also working on a website. What's the address going to be? It's not finished yet, you say?
It's not finished yet. It would just be backwordsdude.com. So backwords.com. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to also put that in the description. Awesome. I have two last questions, but before that, so how much wood and so on and so on, how does that work backwards?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Okay, I'll do it. It sounds really freakish. So here we go with the backwards app. Okay. Doesn't that sound crazy?
Yeah, it sounds backwards.
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Yeah, the amazing thing about that is it's still backwards, but you can understand it, you know.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's why it sounds robotic.
Awesome. Hey, I know you got to run for New Year's Eve dinner, so I don't want to keep you too long. I have two last questions that I'm always asking anyone that I'm talking to. And the first question is, this is a series of interviews with extraordinary people, and who is someone that you consider extraordinary, who has inspired you, or is an inspiration, or does something extraordinary, or takes this world to a next level? Anyone that comes to your mind?
Absolutely. There's two guys that have a show called Good Mythical Morning, Rhett and Link. And it was through watching their YouTube channel that I started, and this was before I was diagnosed with anything. And I realized that, they had my same kind of comedy and the same kind of, I don't know, the way of doing things that I do. They even made a backwards video and did a very, very good job. They wrote a song about 600 or using 600 pillows, and they did the whole thing backwards. And I did not even discover that when I first started watching them. I discovered that 2 years later. And I thought, well, no wonder I like these guys. And so they wound up putting one of my intros on their show because I sent it in backwards. And they used it. Awesome. And, they didn't tell me. But, they've got so much going on. They don't have, they figure, well, he'll catch it when he sees it. And so I was really, really honored that they did that. And I feel that we need people like that. They helped me to step out and do my own thing. And they always say, be your mythical best. Well, I'm being my mythical best with my backwards talk.
Okay, that's awesome. And the last question that I have is, and then I want to close the conversation with that. Now I lost track, sorry.
Sorry. Oh, it's fine.
Jesus, never happened to me. Well, what's my last question?
Something about how I want to leave my mark on the world, or...
Sorry. Yeah.
What do I want to contribute or something?
Sorry. I'm getting tired. Sorry. Yeah. So the last question I'm always asking is, what's your message to anyone who's watching this or who's listening to this video? What's your message to the world?
Well, my message would be to be accepting and patient with one another, and to not be too quick to put somebody down. Okay. That's my message.
That's wonderful. John Austin, the Backwords Dude, thank you so much. Go watch his channel. It's amazing. And have a happy new year. And I'll hope we'll be in touch.
All right. Happy New Year to you as well.
What's Happy New Year backwards?
Reunita.
Wonderful.
Reunita.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Here comes the sunshine and burns away clouds like they never were.